Hey everybody, Radamon here. Thanks for tuning in to Oxygen Not Included. So we are continuing to work towards building the nature preserve, what is it called? Nature reserve, not preserve. The nature reserve, as well as a new suit dock. One of the things I'm going to start to do is to break down all of the previous sweepy dock type installations that we have here. We don't need them anymore. They're not really aiding us. What else? So, here is what I'm going to start to do. Now, this is going to be a little bit of a problem, a little annoying, because it's going to be a lot of plumbing, a lot of temporary plumbing. I'm going to do it with sandstone rather than igneous rock, because I have a lot of sandstone and a lot of sandstone available to me within my base. But this is the run. So the purpose of this piping here is, if I could draw straight lines, we have to send the hot oil. We have to send the hot oil from the oil refinery up to the suit dock area so that I can generate natural tiles. And I will demonstrate this soon, once this is all built. I'm also going to stop the production of steel because I want to keep the lime that I'm using to make steel so that we can have a run of steel when it comes time to build the natural tile. So let's get some additional fossil and build up our supply of fossils so that we have plenty of resources when it comes time. Okay, I'm trying to think of other outlying issues, but I think I've more or less covered them. I do have actually a little bit of a heat buildup here, as you can see. So I'm going to get rid of some of these masterpieces, or at least the top masterpiece, and put in a Wheezewort, because there is some heat going here. I at some point will set up like a whole base-wide support for air conditioning and the like, but I haven't needed to do that yet, and it takes a lot of time and resources and all that, so it's best if I don't and just Wheezewort my way through. I do believe that I've probably grabbed every last Wheezewort I possibly can. I don't think there's any more on this map. Did I get the space one? No, I haven't gotten the space one yet. So that's a Wheezewort that I've not yet tapped. That's probably the only Wheezewort I've not tapped. And I can start building my way to it. Because I was pretty completionist when searching. Alright, so now that this is all broken down, one of the things we're going to do here is build a wall here. And that will allow our duplicants to access this space from inside the base rather than outside the base, which is significantly different and will cut down travel times and all that. I also wanted to cancel some plumbing. The plumbing exits from the sink I'm going to get rid of because I'm going to be using them. Now that this stuff is gone, I will put... actually, this could be temporary. It doesn't really matter what it's made out of, because it is a temporary wall. So let's get this temporary wall built. And that also means that these high pressure vents here are going to have to be destroyed. And then the plastic ladders will continue up. I will be redesigning the base quite a bit, so the fact that the ladder will break here is not something that will happen long term. I'm not worried about that long term at all. So as far as ventilation goes, I'm going to have these splay out like this instead. but they will still dead end. Alright, so this wall is built. Now, whatever dupes I have in here that are in their suits, I guess just sine curve, they are temporarily stuck. So I am going to build a way for them out. There. And once we get that ladder built, we will have a path all the way. Done. So sine curve should be putting the suit away. Oh, yeah, can pass through the checkpoint. So we're fine there. So now everything in here is inside the base, technically. And there's not really any outlying gases that are a problem. There's a few, like, tiny pockets of polluted oxygen, but they're floral scent. They're not slime lung, so no real risk there. And now I can start working on the nature preserve. So one of the ideas I had, and also a commenter had, let me get my note sheet up. So Thomas mentioned this as well. One of the things I could do is to have this style airlock for other facilities in my base. Which means that if I moved some of the bedrooms around and I sort of redesigned the base, I could put my dining room behind the nature preserve. I could put a recreation room behind the nature preserve, or reserve, I just keep calling it preserve. The nature reserve. And that way we more or less guarantee that the nature reserve gets it gets action. It gets duplicants moving there and benefiting from the morale bonuses. So the other question is, what do we want to plant? That's a very solid question. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to design it so that there's a larger variety of things that we might be able to plant. But for now, until we get a pip, it's all hypothetical. That doesn't mean that we can't get the transit tubes. We can. In fact, I plan on getting transit tubes well before it. It's just, you know, we're not going to be able to... we're not really going to be able to yield the benefits of our transit tubing until we have, you know, pips with the nature reserve. So this here is a catch basin for the quick airlock door. I'm not too worried about it being a slow lock or anything like that. You know, it doesn't need to be a perfect lock, and if it fails, it fails. It's not that big of a deal. So what are all my duplicants working on right now? Because I guess they're getting the piping down. Oh, good for them. So as soon as this piping is down, what I'm going to start to do is to work on setting up the farm. I'm going to get rid of this roof part here. So there's several different ways, as I sort of alluded to, several different ways to make natural tile. And I'm going to demonstrate one of the easier ways I've found. It's, you know, of course, left up to a little bit of interpretation, but this is sort of the easiest way I found. So let's go with conveyor rails like this. And then we'll have a conveyor bridge here, like that. A conveyor loader here. And then an auto sweeper. This will make sense to you soon, I promise. Okay, what is this loader made out of? Steel? Yeah, it doesn't need to be steel. Iron ore. Nope. Okay, oh my god, stop. Alright, conveyor bridge made out of gold, because we've just been using gold for everything. And then the lower loader made out of lead. Okay, so that's a good start and setup. And then we're also going to want a storage bin, and I'll put that here. Okay, looking good. So this is probably the sort of easiest way that I've researched and found to be able to do it. But you're welcome to experiment with some other methods. If you want to replicate my method, I'll be demonstrating it here in a moment. And then everything about this construction project is going to get higher priorities, so that I can then focus on the airlock itself, which is honestly probably the more important bit. These are going to need power. These Atmos suit docks I'm going to stop and cancel. Out here, I'll continue this, but the suit docks can go for now. They're just going to be in the way. Okay, so that's a pretty good start and setup. And we now just need to wait for this to be built. No wonder the beautiful things about this is, now that this is all inside the base, it is very, very easy for my duplicants to move around and get this stuff built. You know what? This Weezwort is going to go here. See, the temperatures here are rising, and I'm going to put that as a 9. It's kind of important. All right, the other issue that I've noticed is that my igneous rock is not exactly, as you could see, in the nicest of locations. We have to go far and wide for it. We don't really have any stored close to the base. So let me see if there's sources of igneous close to the base that I might be able to mine to cut down on commute time. So overlay, let's go with mineral. Igneous is going to be this grayish mineral here. So there's a lot of igneous here. And actually, a lot of this igneous, I'd be able to get inside of my base. I wouldn't even need to leave the confines of the base here for this stuff. So this would be most excellent. All right, that's a pretty good task right there. Another thing I should do is setting up ports for airflow, because we have carbon dioxide that is getting trapped. Bryce, don't go. Oh my god, don't go that way. Alright, so this is going to be a lot of igneous rock that we'll be able to source close to the base, which will help cut down commute times and the like. There's not a lot of oxygen up here, so they're going to have to hold their breath, but it's better than having to run around like crazy. Checking on the ranches, 775. Okay, so we've plenty of ranching space. And they're getting the insulated pipes. Yes, all this igneous is wonderful. I'm glad I found it close. So the conveyor, what I'm going to do is allow, let's see, probably fertilizer? But I have to double check what kind of, oh, I have 11 tons of fertilizer? Yeah, that's fine. Fertilizer will work. So then the next thing is to get things powered on. What I think I'll do is punch a hole here, a temporary hole, but punch a hole here for a heavy watt plate to power these things on, so there's not a question of power at all. But you know what? I'm not going to do that for insulation reasons. So instead, let's go with oh boy, there's not really a lot of good sources of power. So we're going to go with a power transformer here. I'll put it on its own little platform. And then we'll run power sloppily, but we'll run power down to the things that need to be powered on. I don't think the bridge actually needs to be powered on, so I'm not going to do that. Alright, so there is that little project. Oh, geez, yes, Braz, you are now stuck because I blocked the way. Braz should be able to build himself out of here if we got some granite. He's going to have a little bit of a mood. Oh, yep, sleeping on the ground. And needing to go potty. Alright. Blocking this off obviously caused all that, so I will make an emergency just to give him a little bit of a rescue. He should be able to get to the bathroom in time, I hope. Yep, perfect. Okay. Well, little sloppy, but hey, we're alive, and that's what matters. I'm going to sweep this up high priority because when we build these airflow tiles, I don't want it going in the water because it's kind of a pain to go collect stuff that dropped in the water. Soggy feet, is that from you, Bryce? I don't know, but I'm going to mop it up because everybody's getting their feet wet. Alright, so this igneous rock is going to be very useful when it comes time to building insulated anything. So we were running sort of out of localized igneous. Taking a look at the plumbing here, most of it is now built, and I've been purposely keeping my metal refinery idle. Then what I'm going to want here is a liquid reservoir. I'm going to put that, let's get rid of these ladders. Going to have a little manual airlock. A little ladder. And then I'm going to do insulated tile like this. This will look ugly. All this, mind you, is temporary. All of it is temporary. Actually, yeah, I don't even need to do that. Okay. Changing my mind yet again. So I'm trying to enclose it so that the heat that I'm about to subject it to is not going to cause problems for the rest of the base. And I think I am going to put a manual airlock here. After all. Sorry for constantly changing my mind. Alright, in this, let's put fertilizer. And then in here, we're going to say fertilizer as well. I'm going to prioritize the construction of the remainder of this project. As far as plumbing goes, I'm going to have a liquid vent right here with a shutoff. So this liquid vent is made out of gold amalgam. All right. Then a shutoff. The shutoff I'm going to make out of steel because it's going to be hot. Oh, this is backwards. And then I'm also going to want an automation signal switch. Right there. So the purpose of all of this is we are going to turn fertilizer into natural soil tiles so that we can use pips to create a nature reserve. And I didn't get a pip. I was holding my breath there, but didn't get it. So I'll show you how this works. Also, let's just say maximum, whatever they have right now is fine. I don't want to move more fertilizer into there. It really isn't needed. All right, then I will also need to power this up. That is fine. One of the beautiful things is, now that this is obviously inside the base, I have a lot more people working on it at once. And everything is getting built very, very, very fast as a result. Alright, Mr. Weezewort. Let's get you planted. I wonder where you're going. Rotten food. Got it. Okay, so once this power transformer, and it's being built now. Oh, no. Then I also need to actually power up the power transformer, but that's pretty easy to do. And I will want to fully enclose this area for heat's sake. For Pete's sake. Alright, so the receptacle here is going to be lower than the loader, so that we actually load it up. And now we're moving, and this is by design, we're moving fertilizer on the rail. And as you can see, each one of these little fertilizer carts have 20 kilograms of fertilizer. Which we will soon turn into soil. Very, very cool. Alright, just making sure the liquid shutoff works. It does. So if we take a look, there is a lack of plumbing here, isn't there not? I think. No, it's... Okay, there is a pipe back there. I just can't see it very easily, I think. So... Here's what I'm going to do. I am going to temporarily break this liquid bridge. And send the oil, the hot oil that we're using for the refinery process, over to my... over up here. So this is now the high priority project. What's that? Okay, that Weezewort is doing its job. Beautiful. Pulling the bedrooms down. The bedrooms weren't like too hot for duplicants, but they're going to be too hot for the Briar. The Bluff Briars. So once that plumbing has been updated, it will be time to create natural tiles. It really is just an application of heat. So if you take a look at the fertilizer here. Nope, fertilizer. Oh, I can't even click the fertilizer. So fertilizer itself, if you wanted to check here, like this, plop. Fertilizer has a melting point of 125 Celsius. Which means if you heat it up to its melting point, it will create natural tile. It's a very handy little tool to be able to do. The disadvantage here, of course, is that I do have to dump a whole lot of heat in the area, which can be damaging. You know, it can be a bit of a problem. So there is a payment for it, so to speak. Okay, now we're getting really low priority tasks being built, which signals to me that they're ready to go just about. All right, so here we are. I'm going to build, or rather, I'm going to refine one steel. I don't want them to do it continuously because I don't want a whole lot of oil spilling out, and that will carry this really, really, really hot oil, which can be used to heat up our fertilizer. It will spill out here at this vent, and turn all of this to natural soil. And that's why I have all this insulated pipe to keep the oil from heating up the base. So here it goes. Here's our refined oil run. And our 340 degrees Celsius oil heading to this fertilizer. I do have a liquid shutoff in case I wanted to, like, it depends on how much oil I want to dump. Because how many kilograms is this? Yeah, this is probably more oil than I need to dump, which is fine. I'll just watch it carefully and liquid shut it off before I dump too much. And if I do need more oil, I can always turn the shutoff back on. That is not a problem. All right, these construction projects here all could get 5s now because we're getting we're getting closer to being able to finish this new airlock. So I'll get that built. And let's watch. So here comes the oil. It's retained pretty much all of its heat because it's an insulated pipe. Insulated pipes don't work perfectly, but they work well enough. Now, that is going to make my bedrooms warmer, but that's sort of the reason for this wheezewort. That one wheezewort alone isn't going to do a lot of work, but all right, I'm going to slow down time. Because I don't really need too much of this oil. As you can see, it's already working. This is now natural dirt. 100% natural dirt. Okay, no, I need more. That's fine. And that's going to allow my pips to plant seeds in them. That's what we're doing this for. Because when a pip plants a seed, it will be wild. When I plant a seed, it is not wild. And a nature reserve requires wild plants. Okay. I'm just trying to feather it so that it's not more oil than I need. But I might actually need the entire run, which is fine. And then I'm going to have to mop this up. And of course, this is scalding hot. So there is going to be some residual heat issues here. But, and this here won't be utilized. That's totally fine. Okay, so we're good. At this point, I then want to go back to plumbing. I'm going to have a liquid bridge again. And all of this, all these pipes can get broken down. That also means that the plumbing for the sinks can be put in. There was actually no real reason why I had to destroy them or stop them. Yep, and then the auto sweeper, the bins, all of this can get broken down. This is going to be enough for me to plant, and then I have to decide what kind of seeds I want, but I don't really need to decide that until I have pips. Yes. So the other thing is mopping. The sooner I get this hot oil out of here, the sooner the surrounding area can get returned back to a normal temperature. So it will scald me. I will have some burns. I accept that as payment for natural tile. Muhammad does not look like he's having a great time. And then I want to sweep this at super high priorities. And then another thing I'm going to want to do is, let's go ahead. There's a lot of wheezeworts down here. I'm probably no longer need these here anymore. I'm going to break this down. And we'll fully remove it. I'm just going to reclaim some wheezeworts from far-flung areas that don't need wheezeworts as much anymore. and get most of them centralized on this new hotspot. As you can see, it is a hotspot. So let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4 ought to do. And as you can see, just going into this area is scalding hot. There's other ways to set this up that might not include burns, the way I've incurred burns, but this is the method I just used is I would argue is the easiest. Okay, I am going to remove... well, let's remove it from over here. Remove that stuff as well. I don't need 4. I could do with 2. And then these shipping lanes that are underneath, I can get rid of. The bridge. The bridge was only here to add directionality to... without the bridge, the conveyor rails wouldn't have gone anywhere. So that's what that's for. Alright. So it's still scalding hot, but a few Wheezeworts working here for a while. We'll probably manage to mitigate some of that heat. I could have done a better job encapsulating it, but another side effect of the way I built this is all of those rails that I just broke down will have they will have buried objects. So I could, you know, there's other methods that you can use to set this up, to set up natural tiles that won't have buried objects like this. But I'm just saying I don't really care. I'm fine with buried objects. So I'm going to break some holes into... And at this point, I can actually get rid of this transformer. I'm going to break some holes into the insulated tile so that the heat can escape, so that I can address it more quickly. And yeah, there's definitely a pocket of heat now here. But it shouldn't be long until I, especially here, right? Obviously, especially here, because I did enclose this, and that was by design. And then as I am adding Wheezeworts, I'm going to break into this insulated tile and manage this heat a little bit better. I may need, however, given everybody's current health, I may need some medical beds. So I will get some triage cots. And these triage cots very much want to be enclosed in a space. This will look very hacked together, but we'll put triage in there. It's not maybe the best spot for it, but it will have to do. Alright, at this point, let's increase the priority for breaking down. So we already broke down these Wheezeworts. And new printables. Okay, no pip. That's alright. It might be a very, very, very long time until I get a pip. Just to make that aware. We're also getting very close to this Wheezewort up here. And that, I think, is the last one. I think is the very last one, unless there's like a micro hidden... No, there wouldn't be down here. There wouldn't be ice. I already see it's salt. sort of, well, I guess I could go to the temperature overlay. Sort of taking the temperature of this surrounding area. These mealwood, of course, last episode got overheated. So right now what I'm doing is I'm, you know, wheezeboarding them, but those wheezeboards won't have to be installed there forever. Alright, so here is my triage cots that are quite full. You do heal while resting in a bed, but just slowly. Triage cots here will speed up that process, and then being doctored will speed it up further. So I don't know if we can see the difference. Health and treatment for per cycle going up. And he's getting out and running around now. Okay, let's get the last of these wheezeboards out. And then, now we have them all set up. I might as well remove the insulated tiles that are keeping that heat sort of trapped. He's like, nope, 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 that's too hot. Oh, I don't blame him. So I do believe I got rid of all the shipping lane type stuff. Down here, we are going to mimic the higher quality, water locks, liquid locks. So for that, I'm going to need maybe some mopped up oil. So I'm going to mop up some oil manually, rather than to use my pitcher pump, which is going to get too much. Low volume is the name of the game when it comes to liquid locks. All right, so all my wheezeboards are installed. We are slowly removing the heat from the area. I'd also like to remove this oil. Now, the tiles here, the minerals, a lot of these minerals aren't... some of them, like the lead, is pretty hot. But, all of this stuff here that is left to sweep... Angelia, don't kill yourself. Yeah, get to a hospital bed. You're really low health. All the minerals... Oh, you know what? That oil right there would be fine. So, hold on a second. I sort of had to drop it. But Paddy Wagon should be running to the liquid lock and dropping that in. That's a fair amount. Well, let's see if that's what was that, 300 grams? Let's see if that's enough to then do a petroleum run on top of it. I'm going to enable auto bottle so that we can grab it. Angelia, I'm going to assign this bed to you, because you are way too hurt to be continually working in this scalding hot location. It is cooling, though. It is now like sauna temperatures, not like melt your face off temperatures, so that is good. But given that she's the most hurt, I think, of all of my guys and gals, she should rest. Okay, so we have a liquid lock. Let's then mop it up. Great. These sinks are getting built. Now, we are going to get wet feet passing through here, but not forever. Because eventually we will have, you know, the suit checkpoints here. Okay, so the temperature is definitely... Some of it propagated out to areas up here, for instance, but most of it is fine. I'm going to uproot that Weezewort and put them here. This little guy, you should be disabled. So I don't need you on. Actually, this whole... I'd rather have this planter box closer so that we don't have to go through so much pea water. Polluted water. Alright, so this is now idle. The temperature in here should drop. We're actually building the airflow tiles so that we have more hydrogen storage. That's good. It looks like at this point there's really no scalding temperatures in here. I'm just going to leave the Weezeworts until it all goes away. But let's get a high priority sweep to sweep up this stuff that we've left. And Angelia, let me check on you. Oh, yeah, you're already up to half. Now, despite all of the wounds that I had, no one got too stressed, which is good. Okay, so we should be back to being able to do runs of steel again. So I'm going to set that to forever. We do have a lot to sweep up around here, though. As you can see, there's all the remnants of that project. And some of it actually ended up outside of the... It's unreachable. Just the way it swept, or the way it deconstructed. There's a really large pocket of carbon dioxide there, too. That carbon dioxide, I think, went around here. So the pocket that was here, when I thought it was going to float across the water and go this way, but because this is airflow tile, it just pooled here, which is sort of unfortunate because I can't have it... I can't easily have it unpool unless I build this, which I will do. Because then once this isn't a lip, it will eventually find its way over here. And that will drop down eventually to the power transformers. Now, I did make one little mistake here, and I want to just mention. This insulated tile probably should have been plastic. As this is an airlock where we are going to prioritize the speed of movement through it. It should have been plastic. But it's one little insulated tile is going to make a ton of difference. God, a part of me wants to just fix it. Yeah, I'm just going to fix it. Might as well have it be perfect, right? So let's mop this up. It's going to be a little messy, but whatever. Now, you know what? No, I'm not going to do that. It's more effort than it's worth. Definitely, it falls into the more effort than it's worth category. So, we'll be able to plant plants here. Natural, wild plants. And then that will allow us to have a nature reserve that we can... What am I deconstructing there? Oh, there's pipe. That will allow us to have a nature reserve for the big morale bonus, which all of our dupes will like and appreciate. At this point, we're just waiting for pips. I'm also going to just sweep everything up. Part of my desire to keep everything swept is the debris from that construction project is ugly. And putting into boxes will help with that. Let's also work on this, temporarily just add high priority here. I want to get rid of this carbon dioxide pool. All right. All looking pretty good, though. New printable? I was hoping for a pip. No pip. Yeah, it might be a lot of cycles until I find a pip, and that's fine. I've accepted that that might be the cost of this airlock, but it does mean that whether we get a pip sooner or later, we are still going to be able to benefit from the transit tube. That remains true regardless of pips or not. It just means that we won't have a nature reserve. And the hotspot is mostly gone. Mostly. It's not perfect. That's mostly gone. For ceiling lights, let's install some to increase the speed of hand washing and ore washing. These are going to have to find power. Part of me thinks I'm going to need a... So these transit tubes here are going to be powered from the main line because they're such high wattage. But these lights here really don't need to be powered from the main line like that. So I need a power transformer, and I think I'll just put one here for now. This is not a great spot for it, but like... it will have to do. Okay. Well, that is all the time I have for this episode, but I hope that in seeing how I created natural soil, this helps you figure out how to make nature reserves on your own, or alternatively, another really, really powerful effect of this, I just wanted to mention, is wild crops don't require fertilization or, water or any of those sort of things. Wild crops, as you can see, are not going to require fertilization or irrigation. They don't produce as much yield as a domesticated crop would be. But for certain wild crops, like let's say arbor trees suck in a insane amount of polluted water when they're domesticated. When they're wild, they don't. So there is if you want to use pips and natural soil, you can have a really, really enormously large farm that does not take a lot of resources. I'm not setting that up. Maybe I do that sometime in the future. What I am doing is setting up a nature reserve. But in my nature reserve, whatever crops I do plant, I can plant ones that are useful to me, like arbor trees. So I could set this nature reserve up for arbor trees. All I really need to do is to make 4 wild plants. Anything more than 4 is just gravy to me. But that is all the time I have. So thank you all for watching. If you have any feedback for me, let me know in the comments below. I will catch you next episode. Farewell, everybody.